Hello and welcome to this Hero analysis video that I'm doing. This is a Tony Ma PB 955.8. It happened earlier today. I'm mainly talking about waves 8, 9, and 10. However, I'll do a quick aside on wave 3 because something interesting happened on this green 3. Which is that Tony Ma, he's blocking the East Runner here, but he blocks it for not 1 but 2 ticks, which results in the late runner death, which results in the late trap repair, which results in the late shot, which results in the 483 green 3 time, which is not what you want. And so what you would do to fix this problem is that you need to recognize that the runner is going on this column and you don't want to be on the same column, because what's going to happen is that runner is going to be on this tile, it's going to try to move diagonally, it can't, so it moves 1 to the right, that's 1 tick. It still cannot move diagonally because you're still south, so it moves 1 to the right, that's 2 ticks, and then it goes on its way. That's 2 ticks delay, but you only want 1. So what you want to do instead is you want to be on the diagonal to the left or to the south of where the runner is. That way, let's say the runner's standing right here, you're going to be standing right here, it's going to move to the right for 1 tick, that's a 1 tick bump, and then it goes on its way. So what you want to do is you want to be on this diagonal instead. Personally, I think the defender should block it. But if he's not going to, then you have to do it yourself. That's when you want to stand on the correct column. If the defender were to block it, I would just need to get out of the way, which I would do. I would run it like a diamond shape like this, up to like here and here and here and back here, as the runner is like trying to go diagonal like this. I would end up placing the 12 second from the north, just to, while I'm avoiding any runner bumps potentially. Well, that's wave 3. Wave 8 is much more interesting. Let's go to wave 8. So this is a double with tofu. I think double is fine. I think triple is better because in a best case scenario, you get to kill the 24 completely in the first call, and then that sets you up really nicely. Or if the spread is bad, you can call for a shield and then poison the 30 on the spawn tick, and then that'll also put you in a really good spot. A mediocre case of triple with a shield on wave 8, I would say, is about as good as the best possible case on a double. So I think it just gives you a little bit more flexibility. But here we go on a double, perfectly fine. The start is fine. The problem is that the 12 right here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 is really bad, because as you can see, the 18 is going west like this. Tony Ma is still poisoning this. He's going to be really late. So the 18, he's going to poison it at 21.6. Even this 5th food is dangerous. This 5th food that lands right here, it's also dangerous, because pay attention to how the 18 paths out of spawn. Pay attention. West, and then immediately to the north. Even if Tony Ma only did 5 food, 3, 4, and 5, when the 18 paths like this, you're not going to make it. You'd only make it if the 18 paths on the same line as the main stack. So that's why the safest option would be to not even do this 5th food. Stop at 4, run to this tile, poison the 18 on the first tick, and then do the remaining 5 on the 12. And the 12 is actually in a really good position for this, because right now it's not moving. Even if it does move, it can only move to the south, because you're blocking it on this side and the wall's blocking it from anywhere else. Even if it goes to the south, the defender's going to come back with the 6-second looping like this, so it's going to be very close to where you are going to be. So I think that works out pretty nicely. But yeah, Tony Ma's going to recognize that he's late to the 18. Completes the 12. Normally you do 2 on the 24, but now he has to fix the 18. And then 1 on the 6 like normal. Yeah, so RP is the 18. He put in extra food, so it kind of cancels out the late poison. The 24, he did 1 on the first call, so now he needs 2 in the second call with the 39 RP, which is what he's going to do. boom, and then well timed here, 39 RP. Now this is good except for one thing. He's not gonna call that the 18 is off tick, because remember it was poisoned at 21.6, so that off tick is gonna continue for the rest of the wave. The auto poisons happen at 0.6, so instead of happening at like 33, it's gonna happen at 33.6, 45, 45.6, and so that goes all the way to 69.6 instead of 69.0. And that's dangerous because Crow, the main, is expecting that everybody healer is dying at 0.0, but there's actually an RP dying at 0.6. And this is dangerous because let's say that from a Crow's perspective, it looks pretty good. Tony Ma's back from the restock at a reasonable time. The lures are good. So he's going to keep to 69.0. And then let's say that the 54 doesn't die for some reason. It actually will not die if we go further into this wave. But in Crow's mind, he's thinking, okay, all the RPs and all the RPs are already dead. It's only the reserve that's alive. So he's going to hold a prayer until the 54 dies, and that'll be the wave end. However, when there's a 69.6 off tick RP, then when he holds that prayer after the extend's over, then a healer he did not even think about, he did not even consider, it would have broken his force. Even if the reserve died at like 70, the RP dies first at 69.6. And then that would be anti, and that would be GG to the PP to the PB. And so he hasn't called that, which I think is a mistake. I think he should call anything unusual to the main. His restock is normal, does 3x left click. One thing you could do here is you could actually ALK, and then you get the extra meat, specifically on a meat second call. Because on reg, you get one less meat. On 1x, you get the same number of food distributed. On 2x, you get the extra tofu. Once it gets to 3x, it rolls around. So it's exactly the same distribution as reg. So you get one less meat by default. But then if you ALK, like on reg, you get the extra meat. On 3x, you also get the extra meat. And like 4x, it's the same as our 1x. Like you get the even food counts on the 4x as with the 1x. And if you were to do a 5x left click, then it would be like 2x, you get extra tofu. So wave 8 is one of those waves where all the reserve food matters a lot. You will see this shortly. Like some people, they even do a restock where they do 4x without left clicking. So they're not going to have one of the foods at the call change. I think it's super dangerous because if for some reason the call ends early or the lures are like not what you expect and you don't get a good yellow on the third call, then you're going to have a really, really bad wave time. Like 75 at best, 78 at worst. Probably, maybe even worse, like 81. Whereas if you have both tofu and worms to back it up on the third call, you can always correct it and get like a 71 or 73 or 75 at worst, really. So these lures are pretty good. They're going to be stacked east, but Tony Ma's going to get messed up by this dead RP that just joined the stack. So the stack order is now 1, 3, 2, because the dead RP spawned first, and the reserves, the RPs, they spawned later. And so at this point, you want to avoid the first healer, because that's the dead one. You want to do a right click and get either one of these. I say either one because both of them are going to be needed several times, so it doesn't really matter which one you pick. You just want to make sure you don't waste food on the first one. But Tony Ma, he does left clicks, which will poison the dead one. He uses 3 food on this dead healer, which is 3 food that could have gone to the RPs. And then to his credit, he corrects these RPs relatively nicely with no overkill. This is perfect RPs here. They die at 69.0 without any overkill, but unfortunately he just used the 3 food on the dead one. And so he spams his 54, but he runs out of food. Wouldn't it be so nice to have those 3 extra meat in your inventory right now? And so this is why these left clicks on these wasted food are not just wasted food because like it's time not spent RPing good things. It's also a waste of food because you need specifically those food for this 54, and now you're out of food. And it's kind of why I say 3x left click is actually enough food pretty much all the time on wave 8. It's just that you want to make sure that you're using your food as efficiently as possible. Like, it's probably a good idea to forego some speed just to make sure you're being accurate and not wasting any food, because that wasted food is going to get you in cases like this where you don't have enough to poison the 54 to death. So yeah, as a result, would have been a 69 easily, turned into a 72. And then wave 9 is pretty good. One thing that is to note here is that in this first call, if you're confident that your defender is like dodging the 18 west of logs, then you can actually keep spamming this healer, and then wait for the 18 to come down, and then just like use a spam on that one instead, and then that'll get you a lot more ticks because it minimizes movement, so you get less ticks lost due to movement. Like, him moving to this tile would only be important if the 18 were on defender, but I think it's a decent assumption to make that the defender is going to hide for the 18. And yeah, same thing with the 24 here. He could just keep spamming this and then use a food on the 24 to like block it without actually moving here directly. It's kind of like 57-6 in that way, or 45-5. But yeah, but there's so much time in wave 9 first call that he has plenty of time without even doing any of that. So yeah, the thing you want to focus on as healer is that between 20 and 30, you're not doing anything. Your eyes need to be on the healers and which one you're going to first, and in what order and like how. Like, for example, I don't know if you guys are keeping track, but this one's the 12, this one's the 18, this one's the 24. You should know this already at this point. At 30 seconds, you should already know this, that as soon as you poison this 30, you instantly go here to the 12 to RP it. This is a 33 RP timing, this is a 36, this is a 42. So what TonyMod could have done is he could have immediately used the meat on this 12 second at the 33 RP timing, and then he could have, this is the 18, he could have also used the food at 36 to get the 18 as well. But instead he goes for the 36 first. It works out for him because the 18 is nice. There might be even a world where you can poison the 24 at 42 and then make it to the 42 spawn without losing ticks, but that one is actually risky. I think TonyMod makes a good decision to wait for the 42 and then go for the 24. But yeah, wave 9, a key point is that playing risky is really nice here, because you can try to fit in those RPs like between 30 and 36 on the ones that you need, because it could be really nice. It'll get you a lot more 75s that way. But yeah, 4x left click normal. Here, this is the 42. He's about to poison. He's gonna get tripped up because on wave 9 there's gonna be a bunch of healers coming to the horn and they're gonna be moving. What you need to do here, this looks like one healer, it's actually two. So what I do here immediately is I use this food on the healer, and then I immediately get the next one, and then I right click this one to see if there's any stack in it. TonyMod right now, he thinks there's only one healer there, but there's actually two. He's gonna get thrown off here. He's gonna left click this dead healer. So that's one food used. And then here it's just unfortunate right clicks, but you know, I've definitely done this before. Like wrong food used, missing right clicks. That for sure happens. But it could have, maybe if he like, cause you know on the moving stack order on this one, it's reverse. It's newest followed by the oldest. Whereas once it gets to the stood still, it becomes becomes oldest and then newest from there. So that's why if he had right click this one, he could have poisoned the top one to get the 30 again, and then that might have saved him from having to do more right click spam at the ending. But yeah, wave 9, these stacked RPs, they really get you. Because they look like they're not stacked, but they actually are. It could be even 5 healers in one stack. That's just the way it is. But yeah, gets that's pretty good, 78 here. Wave 10 is pretty good. He has double. I like to do triple because you get a little bit more flexibility in my opinion. When you do double, you're kind of hard stuck to like the different spawns. Meaning like the 6-second gets the 54, the 12 gets the 42, and the 18 gets the 48. Whereas if you do triple, you have so much food that like you can like adapt to any spread and change these numbers in any way you want. Like you can overkill a healer to get a spawn when that normal healer is like in Narnia or something like that. Or there's even cases where like I turned a 24 spawn into a 42 spawn just by spamming so many food on it in a row because the 12-second just like insta-dunks in the southwest corner. I just think it gives a little bit more flexibility, but it is pretty mechanically intensive, so there's trade-offs there for sure. But Tony plays this double pretty well. 1-4 is really good. Block the 18 perfect. 3, 4, 5, 6. The one thing is that he loses it. There's a tick of idling after the 6th food here, and after the first and before the first food on the 6. So that's the 6th food, and then you set 1 tick of idle, and then he goes for the RP. There's one more, and this is really good. Again, there's that tick of idle between the 24 and the 6 again. It could have been removed, but it's still really good in his favor. And then Tony does something really nice here. He sees the stack. It's like the amplified stack, but they're not perfectly on each other. They're like separated by like pixels. But he sees that the 24 looks like it's in the back. Like you can tell by the HP bars kind of. So he does a right click on the 24, and then before the healers stop moving, he right clicks it again, which I think is really smart because that means it's the same right click order again. So he doesn't have to like recalculate it in his head when they stand still and it changes. He does the second right click before this. It's perfectly stacked on him, which I think is really smart. And then this restock is fine. This tile I think is a mistake because there are 2 outcomes and both of them are bad. The outcome in the video is that he uses the food when he's right here, and OSR's pathing kind of fucks you up here. The true tile of the healer is right here, so you want to end up right here, so you kind of go like this, and like to end up over here. But then on the next tick, you do that, but you end up here like I said, but the healer is not on the true tile like on this one. So you have to go sideways, and that is like how you lose ticks there. And then the alternative is not much better. The alternative is that you wait until you go to this tile, but then the healer's already here, and then you have extra arrival delay when you poison the healer. The best thing you can do is click on, it's 2 south of this one, it's right here. I learned this one doing 5x10. When you get to this tile, you can use the food on the healer that's coming down, and then it'll work every time. They do this in leeches a lot as well, actually. For 78. It'll save you 1 tick on this spam. It helps a lot when like you're running up to this spot as this healer's as like also coming down to it. That's when it's absolutely perfect. But yeah, the spam's good. Yep, good spam. I think one of the 42 is fine there. So yeah, pretty well performed. It says dog shit, man. It's funny. As healer, every time you get a new PB, it's like you only focus on the mistakes, really. And it's like, thing you had a lot of perfect waves. Like you had 5, 5, 6, 7, and then 10 was pretty much perfect as well. But because like you do a slight flubs on wave 8 and wave 9, like now you think dog shit run, even though it was like 95% good. It's just funny how that works. But yeah, the stuff to remember from this run, in my opinion, is on wave 8, if you have an off-take healer, make sure to call it. And then on the restock, if it's meat second, you can consider doing AUK triple. I don't think you should ever do 4x. And then on the first call on wave 8, make sure to, you can do 4 food. 5 food is also most of the time okay. 6 food, don't do the 6 food. That'll make you late when it's on the defender. Do this 18. And then on wave 9, just remember that on this when these stacks are falling down, you need to right click them to see how many healers there are, because there could be any number of sleeper healers behind that one, and you're gonna get thrown off like Tony did, left clicking the dead one right here if you don't right click it. And then on wave 10, this tile is what you want. It's this one right here. You go 2 forward, land on the green egg. You spam from here. Healer is standing right here. Which works really, really nicely. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show from this healer run. Hope you enjoyed. That's about it for me. If you have any runs that you want me to do or a video like this about, then you can send it to me if you want to, and I'll make a video about it. So yeah, see you.